Welcome back to ShopDog-Garage. This is going to definitely be a random and interesting video. Harlan's got a bunch of little tasks, and because Minnesota is Minnesota, he's fixing the bottom of the tailgate for his plow truck because Minnesota's coming real soon for us. And then we've got to change the scraper for the plow. You saw how thick that was. Wait till you see how little is left on the old one. So that's all been scraped away. So we're going to pick that up and get that changed. That'll take like 50 years, 55 years, something like that, because it's a really heavy. And like I said, he's been fixing the fact that, you know, rust is a problem here. And I think we're going to see what we can do about some backup sensors. I think we bought some many years ago. It's been a while. But, oh, he's got a list. So let's go take a look at the list. What do we got? Oh, geez. I got to put on goggles. I can't read that. All right. The speedometer bounces. Not uncommon on these trucks. The radio blows a fuse. Well, that's not good. Brake fluid. Well, I think he wants to replace that. No idea what that says. Backup lights. Oh, the column is loose. Oh, well, that's probably just those two bolts. Something's wrong with the tack. It smells like coolant. Plow blade. Fix a dent in the bumper. Well, that's definitely not in my wheelhouse. So anyway, let's get some work done on the plow truck. I'll try to remember to pick up the phone and film once in a while. Okay, so let's see what these carriage bolts look like. We should be able to get air tools in there. So, just something tells me this weighs about 100,000 pounds. Okay, well, we'll get cracking. Okay, so we got that off in 3 pieces. And he's going to go ahead and sandblast that later. So as soon as he can drive her back out, he's going to knock that all down. You can see Minnesota's getting to her, and stuff's expensive. You want it to last as long as possible. And on the vein of random things he's been working on, here's that 70 hood. I think it's starting to look pretty stinking nice. Okay, we're out here testing a thing. He bought some backup beepers a while back, and we got 2 of them, just put in some scrap metal, and unfortunately we found we couldn't test them in there. Everything was too close. So now I'm 8.5, 10 feet away from the truck. Getting closer. It's noticing that I'm here. Whether I'm here or there. And as I get closer, so yeah, that seems to work. Let me see what we're set at on the beeper. That sounds really loud. Oh, we can get quieter. Yeah, so I think we can make this work. He's actually got 8 sensors, but I think, honestly, I think we only need 2, but we might do 4. Let's see. Yeah, because this corner, see, we're trying to pretend we're the rear bumper on the truck. So let me put it like it was out more. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull the truck forward, and I'm going to set the sensors exactly where I think I want them on the back. Be right back. Okay, we're trying the same test again. White paw's helping. So I'm walking up the middle on purpose to see if we can get away with 2 sensors. I'm thinking we can't. See, as soon as I went off axis, that sensor saw me. So I'm going to, I'm about a yard. So I'm coming in. It sees me here. Okay, I'm in the middle. Okay, let me put me back in plane here. Yeah, so I think with the width of this bumper, we're going to have to break it into 4 sensors for the best coverage. That's what it's looking like. We just got to be careful because We actually want to mount them like here. So what do we do about the hitch? Because he's got a hitch on that one as well. So yeah, we gotta think about that, because it looks like you can get pretty close if you're in the middle. See, I almost got all the way to the truck. Yeah, so if there was a pole, and I'm doing that on purpose, if there was a pole here and you backed up just right, the sensors might not see it. But if there was a pole here, obviously he would get the squeaks. So yeah, we're gonna go take a look at the truck again and see what we're thinking. Okay, so we've set that aside and the lights aside for now. We've got to work with the bumper bracket idea. We saw some complications, so we got to think of that through. So one of the other things that was on the list was changing out the brake fluid. So we just suckered all that out and wiped it down. I will tell you, if you ever get your hands on a box of these are handy. These are just little 10 mil or 10 cc syringes, and they are just handy for transferring fluids. So they're little plastic ones. They work really, really good. Still had a bunch left over from years and years ago. So now we're going to put clean fluid in. It is a week later, and we're mapping some things out. I'll show you his work in just a second. We got the plastic cover off. This is going to be where I'm going to grab my battery positive. It's on a fusible link, but we're going to need a relay and a switch and a way to run a few things. I meant to shoot video earlier and I forgot, but we've been going through, kind of looking. You can see this is what I think we're going to do to power these two LED lights, which have a 15 amp fuse, which is what made me go, huh, okay, let's draw power from a safer source. So that's going to be the power to pin 30 on the relay. 87, when it's closed, is going to do two things. It's going to power those backup lights, and it's going to power those radar sensors that we were going to put in. Now, he's got the bumper back on. I haven't had a chance to find what I really want. I did find some 22 millimeter sensor mounting points on DigiKey that are kind of expensive, so I'd like to keep looking and see if I can find something else. I found another one from a vendor I don't know. They were only $12 a bracket as opposed to $48 a bracket from DigiKey. But anyway, what we're really thinking with those sensors is trying to take advantage of this pad here and this area by this bolt and get those mounted in there, and then they'll just be, a little right angle with a 22 millimeter hole in them. But he also wants those two backup lights that you saw before, which cannot interfere with the sensors, which is why we're being a little careful here and why I wanted the bumper back on. So he's got that all done. We went through under dash. I didn't find a spot I like, so we pulled this, just cleaned this all up. It's an old truck. Those are going to be a great source for that power. Then all I need is a relay. I can use the 15 amp fuse that came with the kit for the light, and I will come up with some protection for the backup sensors. You don't need much here, but the reverse switch is still on the transmission on this car, so it is just a green wire to the back. And of course, being from the time frame it's from, it comes back to a very clustered mess back here. I didn't bring a light, but up under here, right there, you can see a whole bunch of wires. There's a green one in there that's a dark green color. That's our reverse lamp. Now, we're only going to use that to trigger a relay and to, trigger the radar. So we're only going to add like 140 milliamps to it. Won't be a big deal. I don't think there's a simple spot up here to to grab that. If there isn't, we'll just run a brand new wire from the back all the way forward, and we'll cut it in there, heat shrink it down, weather seal it, and bring that up. Because what I'm trying to figure out is how I want to bring those sensor cords into the cab, the harness for the lights into the cab, and you know where everything's going to go. We're going to grab our power over there. Honestly, the relay most likely will be over here somewhere, because we're probably, maybe we add a new grommet location. I don't think we can fit everything through any of the existing, but we will look. There's not a lot of great places to go through the firewall on these trucks, so we'll keep looking. But winter is coming, and he wants his plow truck up and running. So he got that all primed up nice and sandblasted. If you recall, that was all looking pretty rough. So at some point we got to put the new blade on. And look at that. Plow ready for another season. So you can see it actually was starting to eat into the plow itself. You can see this angle here. See that? If I come to this side, yeah, see, it's not drastic like that. So a little bit of scraping, but what do you expect? You know, every extra year, that's money in the bank. Okay, so he'll get her picked back up. We'll get that jack out of there. And now he's ready to go drop that off for winter. I think the truck will come back down. We got more to do, but it'll be a lot easier to do without this on it. And like magic, no plow. So we left her where we could easily roll her forward and pick her up if we need to. And obviously I put all these fuses back where they went. He was having a problem with the clock on the radio, but when I was playing in here, I pushed on a fuse and there was a spark, and I was like, and it didn't blow the fuse. So we pulled the battery, deoxed all that, took the little cleaners, cleaned all the contacts. So at the moment, when you turn the key on, there's clock. In fact, we did that 2 hours and 18 minutes ago. Can't imagine how I would know that. So yeah. Anyway, we'll continue going down his list as best we can. A couple things involved. I've got to build some stuff up or order some stuff. But you know how Harlan is. He's always got a list because we're too old to remember stuff. And he went to get a steering wheel puller because we're going to see if we can do something about that. So let me get her about as straight as we can. So yeah, hopefully it's just those screws back here. We don't know. Maybe not. Steering wheel definitely wasn't falling off. Took a little work, but we got her. So now lock retainer plate, and we'll keep moving. And this old pusher that I've had for probably 35 years, what I like about it is, see this ring here? Let me get a pointy tool. It normally sits down here. I've got it slightly compressed. And then you can take and wiggle, 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 fight. Once you get started, you push it up on here so that when we back this all back off now, I am definitely not a one-handed guy, but watch what's happening. The lock retainer plate is coming up, and as soon as the spring is relieved, which should be pretty soon, we can undo the tool, and the snap ring will stay on there until it's time to put it back in. And now you don't have to fight getting it over all of this stuff. This is the handy tool. Okay, and just so I remember, there's my order. Okay, that's that spring we were fighting against right there. So that actually rides under that. And now I've got to take this lever off for the multifunction control arm so that I can, and then of course this guy, so I can get this apart enough and see what else is next, because I don't remember. It's been a while. I don't think it's as simple this time. I don't think it's them screws. Not sure what it is, but it feels like it's further down in the column somewhere. And like we were just talking about, it could literally be the other end of the column and it's allowing too much play. So, very strange. Okay, well, he is down here. Okay, go ahead, Harlan. Look at that. Something tells me it's not supposed to move like that, because the intermediate shaft should be down here. See where it slides down there? Not up there. I wonder if we've just got a completely blown out bearing or a missing clip. Because, yeah, that would explain the amount of motion we're talking about, though. So, bummer. Oh, yeah, when you went up and down, that bearing is completely shot. I think that bearing is gone. And we're in a pickle. We're going to close this video, but we're worried about that. Not, well, you know, not like safety-wise, but I mean, it's annoying, and who knows if it goes further apart. But more importantly, when we went to put all this back together, we couldn't get the multifunction control lever to go in. So we had to pull all of it back apart instead of just a little of it, because when we come over here, and he'd said the wiper switch had been a little funny sometimes, but we couldn't get the MFC back in there, and it wouldn't go in the hole, so we had to take everything apart to retrieve this little, obviously broken piece of pot metal that was inside this switch somewhere. And with that out, I could finally get the arm to seat. The problem is it's no longer a switch. It went to full, and luckily we pulled it out to test it, and it went to full, and that's it. Won't go back. So whatever that did, that helped it go back. So we got to replace that. It looks like Standard Motor and Eichlin and all them do make them. They're pricey. So suddenly we're at the, well, do we just find a good used column instead? Because that might cost half as much as a good used column, which would have that, and maybe have a bearing that isn't so bad on the bottom, and all that play. We don't know yet. I do know it's not going to be cost effective to rebuild the column. That definitely won't be, not for a plow truck. So we got decisions to make and some research to do. So with that, I'm going to call it. It's been an interesting day, I'll tell you that. Work has been very, very fun. Sorry there hasn't been any Camaro videos. Been a lot of 17, 18-hour days at work lately, so it is what it is. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. This has been another ShopRex approved video. Thanks for watching.